Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Run It Back, the show where we try to get things right the second time. In today's episode, we're going to be going over a draft that Beer Emoji and myself actually did joint together. We had an opportunity to connect on Discord and just kind of run a draft together, and this was the one that we came up with. As you can see up here, we ended up going 7-2 with the draft, and so we were pretty happy with that as well. And we'll dive into it now. As we open up Pack 1, Pick 1, we're met with a couple of things. I think Metamorphic Blast is definitely a good opportunity if you're going to be going into blue. Vraska Joins Up is fine, but nothing really that spectacular unless you're already in a bunch of legendary creatures, so I don't mind taking this one on the wheel. Cactarantula is very powerful, and then, of course, the Deep Muck Desperado puts you in a very pigeonholed deck, but a very good one at that, whereas this Hard Bristle Bandit, probably the best card keeping you open into any colors that you'd like, as this helps with your fixing, as well as is an outlaw being a rogue here. Moving on to Pack 1, Pick 2, we saw an Honest Rutstein. I also could have seen an Eartha Joe here or a Binding Negotiation. These are all good ones. If we wanted to stay in mono green, Snakeskin Veil is the best card, but things like Honest Rutstein and Eartha Joe just are going to be immensely more powerful. Seeing that Honest Rutstein was one additional color in addition to this Hard Bristle Bandit, we elected to go with this, plus I thought it definitely allowed for some late game shenanigans where you're just cycling off your Rutsteins together. Pack 1, Pick 3, we were a little unfortunate about a lot of this. I mean, we had Voracious Farm if we want to stay in green. Gold Pan, this town ain't big enough. These are all fine. Even Decisive Denial also is fine. But I think Gila Courser is the strongest card. It plays well in green-red. It plays well in red-white. Even red-black has some play to it as well. Just a 4-2 on 3 plays really well, and hopefully we can end up picking up a Coyote later on in the draft. Pack 1, Pick 4. Again, we're kind of taking a look at these commons and uncommons that are white and blue. Not a big deal there, and so really this whole thing comes down to a Dance of the Tumbleweeds or a Hard Bristle Bandit. While I do think both are very powerful and this plays a little bit better in the late game, this gets us to that late game a little bit sooner, and I wouldn't really classify this as a major bomb and something we definitely could pick up more of later, whereas this Hard Bristle Bandit, once you get past Pick 5 or 6, you're not seeing too many of these anymore. So we decided to go with the Hard Bristle Bandit. We weren't sure how many different colors we were playing at this moment, and this one just fixes a little bit quicker. Pack 1, Pick 5, we saw a Double Down, which is definitely something we could end up playing with these bandits and the Rutstein. We also have a Full Steam Ahead, which plays well with the 4 creatures that we have, but both of these things kind of seemed a little more niche, and so we were looking at either the Conduit Pylon as a potential desert or this Patient Naturalist, and so we went with the Patient Naturalist mainly just because it filled up the yard for Rutstein, and I thought it was something that could play well. We also could look at this Gigapede, but I figured we'd be able to pick up one of those in the future. Pack 1, Pick 6, we saw another Gila Courser. We also saw things like Mind Raider, but, we really wanted to end up making these bandits work, and this Bristling Backwoods played well with the Gila Courser we already had, as well as untapped our bandits in the interim. Pack 1, Pick 7, we saw a Wrangler of the Dam and a Crown, both of which could be fine, but this Lush Oasis definitely played better in the idea that we could open up more power later. Obviously, still seeing Crown and Wrangler of the Dam around suggests that we're going to end up seeing these sorts of things at the table, and so Lush Oasis keeps us open, keeps us going, and we really have an opportunity to play any bomb that comes our way. Pack 1, Pick 8, we saw Mirage Mesa. We also looked at Trick Shot, Rooftop Assassin. These are probably the other main two, and neither of these were really something I was dying to play. The Rooftop Assassin kind of plays well, but we don't really have anything to ping creatures or deal damage to them outside of just sacrificing a creature by chump blocking. So this Mirage Mesa just plays well with the idea that we could get a black land out of it for the Honest Rutstein, or really anything else as we're opening up. Pack 1, Pick 9. Normally, I would say probably don't want to take a double off-color desert in the Abraded Bluffs, but I'm not thrilled with any of these cards. Wingsmith and Keykeeper are low at best. Rodeo Pyromancers I haven't really played with at all, and these are okay tricks, but nothing that I'm that excited about. So Abraded Bluffs, definitely the best card. It also just untaps our Bristle Bandits, so I don't know if we're playing it unless we've got a good reason to, but for now it's a good reason to speculate, so that way you can pick up a rare in Pack 2 or 3. Pack 1, Pick 10, the Bighorn definitely did seem good enough to us so that we're going to go ahead and pick it up here, especially because having 4 deserts, I think we picked 3 of them in a row, it really meant that we wanted to start to zero in on some creatures. Pack 1, Pick 11, we saw Decisive Denial, which I didn't think played all that well with what we were going, plus we weren't even sure if we were playing blue at that moment, so we picked up this Eroded Canyon to hopefully pick up some good blue card in the future. Pack 1, pick 12, we looked at a Bighorn and a Raider. We didn't know if we were playing the Bighorn because it's only our white source. It was our only white card, and so we picked up the Mind Raider because that was a decent follow-up to these Bandits on 3 because that Outlaw means that we're going to get the treasure token. Pack 1, pick 13, we did see the Gigapede wheel, which I was pretty happy about. I thought this was a great pickup. Pack 1, pick 14, we did see a Quill Charger. I don't think we really want to play this card. It just doesn't have enough impact for 4 mana. Pack 1, pick 2, we did see a Coyote. We also looked at Savage Smash. Vile Smasher was definitely on the docket here, or even the Blooming Marsh, but I think we had enough fixing as it was with 3 of these in the sideboard, so we decided to pick up the Coyote just because it plays so well with the Gila Courser that we have, especially if we don't have a Hard Bristle Bandit in order to ramp things out on 3. Pack 2, pick 2, this was a Rise of the Vandals, could have been a Tyrant Scorn, could have been a Raven of Fell Omens, could have been a Free Strider Commando. There was lots of things that it could have been in this pack. Shoot, we could have even taken a Prairie Dog or a Frontier Seeker if we really want to, but considering the fact that we have a Rutstein and what it looks like about 10 creatures or so far, this Rise of the Varmints was going to be at least 2 or 3 Varmints most times, if not more, and it played about that. Pack 2, pick 3, we saw a Savage Smash still around, the Tarnation Vista. I don't think we want to move in on this too early. A Cactarantula, a Consuming Ashes, a Soured Springs, just lots of green and black cards coming around. We elected to go with the Dance the Tumbleweeds just because it was a big threat while also continuing to get any of our deserts as we may have needed them. Whereas the Cactarantula, we already needed a desert to make that work. Consuming Ashes also would have been fine, but I think that we just kind of wanted to end up beating some faces in and being the aggressor in the deck. Pack 2, pick 4, we did pick up another Naturalist. We could have looked at the Salvo, which I thought was fine. We also looked at a Vault Plunder, which I thought was fine, but I'm not too thrilled with either of these cards. And the Naturalist in a deck that we still wanted to kind of be as open as possible plays well. Pack 2, pick 5, we looked at an Intimidation campaign. We also looked at a Wolverine, maybe a Lonely Arroyo, but having a Spinewoods Paladin was exactly what we want. It plays really well with a Rutstein on 3 into Spinewoods Paladin casting on 4. It also plays well with a Bristle Bandit or a Hard Bristle Bandit on 2, and then you get to plot on 3, just jamming it on 4. This just plays really well. We've got really easy ways to get it out there quicker. Pack 2, pick 6, we saw our Cactus Folk Sure Shot, and this was easily one of the best cards in our deck. It was awesome. It gave all of our big things haste, like the things that we get from our Dance of the Tumbleweeds or the Spinewoods Paladin. It was just incredible. Ward 2 is incredibly difficult to deal with, and so unfortunately we did have to pass things like Snakeskin Veil and Skewer the Critics, but Cactus Folk Sure Shot is the exact card that I want. Pack 2, pick 7, we picked up a Tumbleweed Rising because we had just picked up the Dance the Tumbleweeds, the Cactus Folk Sure Shot, and the Spinewoods Paladin. These are all great cards to end up picking up here. We could have taken another Gigapede, but I wasn't really 100% certain we were playing the first one at this moment, so picking up a second seemed a little sketchy. Pack 2, pick 8, we have a Make Your Own Luck, and the fact that we have 2 blue sources plus 2 bandits over here suggests that this one singular blue pip splash is absolutely worth it. I think this card is absolutely nuts, and any green deck that can splash even a singular blue pip should be taking it. So I was really happy to see this one. Pick 8, that suggests that maybe we can get some better things in the future. Pack 2, pick 9, we saw the Savage Smash wheel. That just plays so well with the Cactus Folk Sure Shot. It means that your Patient Naturalist can end up Savage Smashing. And then also there's a number of times where we used our Hard Bristle Bandits to Savage Smash on something else, untap the Bandits, and then cast a second spell in the same turn. Pack 2, pick 10, we had a Voracious Varmint. I wasn't really thrilled with any of these cards, but the Varmint can deal with pesky artifacts and enchantments, so it was definitely worth it here. We picked up a second Savage Smash, and it was awesome. We loved this card. It played out so well. I would consider picking up a third one in this draft. Pack 2, pick 12, we picked up a Conduit Pylons, mainly just sort of because there's nothing else going on. We did play this one. It was still worth it. I would play this card most decks. Pack 2, pick 12, we have a Lonely Arroyo. Probably wouldn't play this one in this moment because we're not in white, and I don't think I want to do just a blue, but there's an opportunity that if we open up in something Pack 3, that we might end up playing this one as well, and we end up with a Forest. Finally, moving into Pack 3, pick 1. We looked at this Final Showdown, but seeing as we were going to be a, fat, fast creature deck, I didn't think that a Final Showdown was really where you wanted to go. We picked up the Scorching Shot because it ends up killing just about anything. Looking in hindsight, Scorching Shot is a very reasonable pick. I'm also looking at Blood Hustler here, but I think the Scorching Shot just plays better with where we're at. Pack 3, pick 2. Not too thrilled with much of anything. We have this Bristleback Sentry. We have a Binding Negotiation. There's a Skullduggery. None of these things are super, super exciting. And on color, green-black dual land plays really, really well. And so we picked up the Festering Gulch, hoping to wheel probably one of these 2 black cards over here. Pack 3, pick 3, we were past a Bonnie Paul, and this was the absolute surprise of the draft. We were so thrilled with this. This won us a bunch of games. It played extremely well with this Cactus Folk Sure Shot. You play the Cactus Folk Sure Shot, and then once you play the Bonnie Paul, that allows you to attack with both Bonnie and Bo, because they're both usually going to be bigger than a 4-power creature. They both have trample. It was incredible. The card's nuts. It was super good. Pack 3, pick 4, we picked up a Badlands Revival, mainly just because we have the Bonnie Paul, we have the Cactus Folk Sure Shot. It plays really well with Honest Threatstein. These things in general all really suggest we want to go with the Badlands Revival. Seeing a Trash the Town, a Drover Grizzly, even a Desperate Bloodseeker, these are all great cards just to sort of fill the rest of your deck out, but Badlands Revival rebuying your huge threats was incredible. Buried in the Garden was an awesome pickup. It also allowed us to remove something while ramping up to Bonnie Paul. It allowed for our second blue pip. This definitely meant that we were going to be playing things like the Lonely Arroyo and the Abraded Bluffs to easily splash for 4 sources for a single white card. I thought this was great. Pack 3, pick 6, we saw a second Spinewoods Paladin. This was awesome. We looked at a second Backwards Revival, but I thought the Spinewoods Paladin was going to easier allow us to end up maintaining our life total and stabilizing, so that way we can get to our big threats, but also having this be a threat and attack with haste with the Sure Shot. I was happy to see a second Spinewoods Paladin here. Pack 3, pick 7, we used an Eartha Joe. We splashed this Eartha Joe because we were already splashing white anyway. It does play well with the Cactus Folk Sure Shot, as well as a couple other things that allow for haste. Pack 3, pick 8, we saw Snakeskin Veil. We didn't end up taking it. The Creosote Heath just played well with the Buried in the Garden, so we picked that up. And overall, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 deserts. So unfortunately, we didn't see a Cactarantula so far, but we'll keep our eyes peeled. Sheriff of Safe Passage is just sort of a throwaway pick. I don't think we're playing this one. A Bristleback Sentry looks good. A Wanted Griffin was fine. Mystical Tether was a great pickup here late in the draft at Pack 3, pick 12. And then we end with a Gold Pan. Taking a look at the deck, you can see here as we separate the non-creature spells that we pretty much have a bunch of creatures. Some of them that allow for fixing, meaning these 4 creatures. Some of them are allowed for power, which are like all of these guys up here. And then we have a bunch of removal spells. Looks like we've got 5 removal spells, 1 rebuy, another big threat over here, and then some card advantage in the Make Your Own Look and the Rise of the Varmints. So overall, this deck was pretty slick. It was awesome. The Hard Bristle Bandits did a lot of work. There was opportunities for us to tap a Hard Bristle Bandit for red and then end up, casting things like the Mystical Tether off of our mana. Then that untaps our Bristle Bandit, and then we tap it again for red and Scorching Shot something else, removing 2 threats. Or, you play both your bandits, and then on turn 4, you can end up tapping them both, playing a tap land, untapping them, and ramping out, your bigger threats earlier in the combat. We've also had opportunities to tap these after attacks, play out something like the Gigapede, and then that untaps these and allows them to chump block. Overall, this deck played out extremely well. Lots of fun, super easy, and we went 7-2 with it. Really happy with the whole thing. If you want to have your deck featured on Run It Back, feel free to submit your 17 lands data over to me at runitbackmtg@gmail.com or on Discord in my DMs. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.